Hello pawb, hello everybody, croeso nôl I Welsh Bloke Walking. Welcome back to Welsh Bloke Walking. Now regular viewers will know this, when I take you for a walk, usually it's yn y cefn gwlad in the countryside. Miles away from everywhere, the back end of beyond, far beyond the realms of civilization. But today is going to be a wee bit different because this walk goes through the centre of a town. Not that you'd know it. Intrigued? Then walk this way. And today's walk starts right here in the Tesco car park in Holywell. Before heading down this rather unobtrusive little pathway. Hard to believe that this quiet spot was once, back in the great days of steam, Holywell's railway station. As we come around the corner, we catch our first glimpse of the old bridge that once spanned the station. And, by the look of it, you can still walk across it. Well, it would be rude not to, wouldn't it? Let's go. Ah, the good old days of steam. So, let's start the walk. Here's a handy shortcut to the bottom. The main path for this walk is completely wheelchair, baby buggy and bike friendly, and follows the route of the old railway line itself. Back when the trains were still running, one of the biggest groups of visitors arriving here were pilgrims. And our first little diversion will take us to the very place they had come to see. This looks like the turn-off. Whoops, bit loose that. Wasn't me. The path then pops us out onto the main road. Just a couple of yards from the place the pilgrims had travelled all this way to visit. And here is where the pilgrims' path led. This is St Winefride's Shrine, also known as the Lourdes of Wales, because of its curious, holy, star-shaped well, which is considered to have magical healing properties. Legend has it that way back in the 7th century, a young girl called Winefride, Winifred to you, was accosted by a local baden, a prince called Caradog, who tried to seduce her outside the church on this spot. When she rejected his advances, he took out his sword and chopped her head clean off. A spring gushed forth from the place her head came to rest. Luckily for her, her uncle Beno, who was a priest at the church, saw the whole thing. He rushed over, picked up the head and placed it back on her shoulders, and it healed instantly, restoring Winifred to life. As for Caradog, Beno cursed him on the spot, and he is said to have just melted away like wax before a hot fire. That'll learn him. Both Winifred and Beno were later canonised as saints. The magical spring soon grew into a torrent and became famous throughout the land for its healing powers. To this day, the well still attracts visitors by the coachload and is said to be the oldest continually visited pilgrimage site in the whole of Great Britain. Okay, let's get back to the path. Passing through the gate, I noticed that there's an alternative path off to the left. Now I've no idea whether it leads anywhere interesting or not, but being nosy, I just have to find out. As it turns out, it's simply another route through the woods, with nothing especially remarkable about it, apart from some lovely may blossom. And when the two paths finally rejoin, I'm greeted by another splash of colour. The Welsh call them clychau gog, cuckoo bells. You probably know them better as bluebells. And on we go. Not much sunshine about today, but at least it hasn't decided to rain. So, that's something. Hang on, did I just see what I thought I saw through the trees there? Yes, I did. A factory chimney. In the woods. What do you reckon? Full of birds' nests? No, it's perfectly clear. Impressive. Look at this. "250 years ago, this place belonged to the Paris Mine Company of Ynys Môn, and it was known as the Battery Works, not because it made batteries, but because it used a discharge from the Holywell to power tilt hammers, which workers used to batter copper and brass into pots and pans. In fact, the flow of holy water powered a whole series of industrial processes as it made its way down the valley towards the sea. As we shall see. Looking through the trees, I catch sight of a body of water. Probably Pwll Melyn y Ddol, or the Meadow Mill pool. That suspicion is quickly confirmed as we come across the marker for the mill itself. Now the name Meadow Mill might conjure up images of a quaint little flour mill beside the stream. But this was anything but quaint. It was a heavy industrial site, producing huge copper rollers for the textile industry. This mill pond served as its power reservoir, and the cascading water drove 3 enormous 20-foot water wheels that powered the machinery inside. Like much of the industry along this watercourse, this mill was owned by the so-called Copper King, Thomas Williams of Llanidan, who also owned Paris Mountain Mine on Ynys Môn and dominated the global copper industry during the late 18th century. The ruined ghost of what was once a thriving industrial landscape has now given way to nature and to wildflowers. Following the course of the water brings us to one of the largest mill ponds in the valley, the Flour Mill Pond. Originally, this pond was constructed to power a textile mill. However, in the 1850s, the site was bought and converted into a commercial flour mill, and the name has remained ever since. What was once a hive of industrial activity has become a haven for wildlife, a place of peace, beauty, and quiet reflection. But there's just one more stop to visit, so let's get back on the path. And there it is, our final destination, Basingwerk Abbey. Founded in 1113, Basingwerk Abbey is a Grade 1 listed Cistercian ruin, with a history stretching back almost 900 years. It began life as a Savieniac monastery, established here because of its proximity to St Winifred's Well, one of the most important pilgrimage sites in Britain. For more than 4 centuries, the abbey flourished as a major spiritual, cultural and literary centre. The monks were not only men of prayer, they were also skilled engineers and entrepreneurs. During the medieval period, they harnessed the waters of the Holywell stream to power corn mills and wool mills, helping to drive the local economy. The abbey also played an important role in fostering Welsh literature and enjoyed the patronage of several Welsh princes. That prosperity came to an abrupt end in 1536 during the dissolution of the monasteries. The abbey was seized by King Henry VIII, the monks were expelled and the buildings were stripped of their valuable materials. Today, these peaceful ruins are cared for by Cadw and mark the starting point of the North Wales Pilgrim's Way. And of course, a place this old comes with its own ghost story. Legend tells of a monk from the abbey who wandered into a nearby woodland after hearing the beautiful song of a nightingale. Entranced by the bird's melody, he stopped to listen. What seemed like only a few moments passed before he made his way back. But when he returned, the abbey stood in ruins. According to the tale, centuries had passed while he listened to the nightingale's song. Realizing what had happened, the monk aged instantly and crumbled into dust. A fittingly mysterious ending for a valley where history, industry, legend and nature all meet. So there we have it, that's the lots for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Diolch am wylio, thanks for watching. And until next time, hwyl fawr i chi.